believe it's possible to live well without eating well. Now, of course, this means different things on different days.
But whatever the day, I want food that makes me feel good, not just when I'm eating it, but when I'm cooking it too.
The moment of truth.
Simply Nigella is about dishes that do just that. Recipes that relax and restore, uplift and enrich.
So seriously good.
Food I've enjoyed with family and friends. As I've settled into my new kitchen and where I am in my life right now.
I believe with all my heart that what and how we cook can make us feel better and more alive.
Really delicious. So good.
And for me, a meal, however simple, is a celebration of life. And life is there to be celebrated. There are days when I want a big bowl of something cosy and others when I want something light but still luscious, and I've got just the thing in mind. Got my avo, need watercress, everything else is back at the ranch. My salmon, watercress and avocado salad is a bit of a house special in Casa Lawson. I make it so often I could probably make it in my sleep. And I like to use wild Alaskan sockeye salmon, which naturally has this vivid hue. And although it's in a frying pan, I poach it. I want some spring onion to bring a bit of flavour to the poaching liquid. And some black peppercorns. The reason I use a frying pan is that you don't need much liquid, which means it comes to a bubble faster and it cools faster, so the flesh stays tender and doesn't overcook. I want the sprightliness and brightness of some lime. And I think you need to be bold with the salt. I have devised the perfect poaching procedure for this. I let the pan come to a bubble, and once it does bubble, I turn off the heat, I turn the fish over, and I let them stand in the pan for 7 minutes. Works for me every time. So it's bubbling now. I do not want it to come to a rollicking boil. Turn off the heat and flip these over. They do look a bit raw on the top, but they will cook so gently as they stand in the water. And the texture will be soft and luxurious. I like a bit of crunch in the salad, so I add pumpkin seeds. Now, I love pumpkin seeds anywhere and anyhow, but toasted, they really are wonderful. It enhances their flavour and it brings out their nuttiness and smokiness. And if I wait patiently, I'll start hearing them pop. Patiently being the key word. Oh, they're going. The noise reminds me of those little caps that my brother had when we were little, and you flicked them like that, picked at them, and they would pop like the pumpkin seeds. I don't want them scorched, obviously, but I do want them to brown a little, or rather go bronze among the green. I'm going to give myself the pleasure of a few more pops, and then I'm going to shake them out into a pan to cool. Beautiful. The salmon's had its time, I'm going to peel away the skin, although I love skin if fish is fried or grilled, not when it's poached. Perfect. And they can sit on the plate to get cool. Will I get on with my salad? I want a tangle of watercress, bit of arranging, and a few drops of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar. And I love the fierce pepperiness of watercress. It's the perfect foil to the smoothness of the avocado, and indeed the salmon. I prefer just to spoon out curls of avocado rather than have it sliced rigidly. Getting rather camouflaged in there. Now the salmon. See, this is how I like to eat salmon. Still a bit bright coral within. Silky, the texture. I always go for cold-pressed rapeseed oil here. Again, it's got a pepperiness like the watercress, although extra virgin olive oil would not be a bad choice. The crunch of pumpkin seeds. This is the work of mere moments. Such a relaxing way to cook fish. Getting excited now. In or out of the kitchen, balance is all important. But for me, a life cannot be a balanced one if there's no room in it for chocolate cake. And I have a radical new one in mind.
My brand new creation is a chocolate licorice layer cake. Sandwiched with jam, draped with chocolate, and topped with blackcurrants. And I'm ecstatic about it.
I've restocked my licorice box. Now, I know the world divides into licorice loathers and licorice lovers, but I'm on a crusade, and I have made a few conversions. The combination of chocolate and licorice is a revelation. These chocolate licorice almonds are, I describe as entry level. But this licorice-filled chocolate bar is decidedly for the mature student. Moving to warp factor 9, this salty licorice syrup is the antichrist for licorice loathers. But for me, this drizzled over ice cream is a sensation. This is where my love affair with licorice started. I used to spend all my pocket money on these blackcurrant and licorice sweets. What I savoured and still do is that balance between bright, sharp blackcurrant and warm, deep licorice. This is yin and yang in confectionery form, and I knew I had to emulate this in a cake. To do so, I put chocolate into the partnership, and I use fine licorice powder. This is much more like a spice, bringing a subtle bloom after the bite, and it's my secret weapon for luring licorice loathers over to my side.
This cake isn't just divine to eat, it's also really easy to make. Just a case of mixing wet ingredients into dry. I'll start with a dry, plain flour, and enough sugar to balance the immense amount of bitter cocoa that comes after. On top of that, baking powder and bicarb, without which the cake will not rise enough. And last to go into the dry ingredients is fine licorice powder, enough to give a pronounced hit, but trust me, the effect is oh so subtle. Then the wet ingredients, just 3. First, milk. You can use semi-skimmed, but I use almond milk, not least because then it's a dairy-free cake for those who want it so. Next, some sunflower oil. And then eggs. And once combined, they can be added to the dry ingredients. This is when the magic happens. The pale speckled flour is transformed into a glistening rich mahogany paste. And this becomes a glossy batter thanks to the addition of some water from a recently boiled kettle. I whisk this in swiftly, then pour the smooth, chocolatey batter into 2 lined and greased sandwich tins. And don't even think of using loose bottom ones or the batter will escape. These need about 25 minutes in a moderate oven, then let them cool.
My cakes have been waiting so patiently to be iced, and I'm happy to oblige. In fact, I'm quite excited. Now, the icing should be a subtle echo of the flavours in the cake, so I'm starting with a whisper of licorice. Just to dissolve that, a bit of hot water. Oh, and now I have some information to impart. I'm going to show you my magic trick. I take this, I put a bit of oil in it. Let's brush it. And because I'm using golden syrup, it won't stick. This is good for honey, treacle, anything like this. And now I will perform said magic trick. All comes out. I'm going to give it a quick stir. And while this comes to a bubble, I'm going to top my chocolate, the last and very important ingredient in the icing. This chocolate is good and dark, a bitter hit against the ambrosial sweetness of the golden syrup. I like bashing this into smithereens. Getting a bit obsessive now. I'm marshalling my chocolate rubble. My bronze liquid is bubbling. So, heat off. This is crucial. The rubble tumbles in. And I just need to swirl the pan. It's not very demanding work. So that the chocolate is submerged and I can get on with filling the cake. The cakes will look quite flat at this stage. They're meant to. Now, one cake down here. I talked earlier about the inspiration for this cake and the sweets of my childhood. So it's only right that the filling for this cake should be blackcurrant jam. Oh, I love its malevolent glint. And the sharpness of the jam is just what you need to punctuate that rather sort of husky licorice quality. And now lid on. And it's ready to receive a swathe of glossy chocolate. Whisk it on. Needs a bit of coaxing. Try. I'm not a neat freak, and I love it when the chocolate drips down the edges. Blackcurrants can be quite hard to find, although you can sometimes get them frozen. However, I have been known to scrummage about a frozen packet of mixed berries just to get the blackcurrants for this. It's not the most exciting work, but it's worth it.
One of the wonderful things about living in a big city is that you absorb culinary influences from so many different cultures. And one of my favourite recipes is testament to that.
Chicken shawarma is a kind of Lebanese kebab, and it's cooked on a spit. Now, I make a version at home. I bake it in the oven, and it's fabulously simple, but I still like to eat it in the trad manner, and that means flatbreads and a lot of pickles.
I'm lucky enough to live near a Middle Eastern deli, so my supper guests get to crunch on pickled green chili peppers and pickled turnips. Beetroot in the pickling liquor is what turns them so radiantly pink. And for me, nothing beats proper Middle Eastern pita bread. What I'm making to eat with these is something I get started on in leisurely fashion a day ahead.
I'll admit my chicken shawarma relies on an awful lot of spices, but this couldn't be easier to make. And besides, any recipe that starts with the zest and juice of 2 lemons makes my heart sing. And this involves minimal washing up, always an important factor for me. I throw everything in a plastic bag, and I've already got 12 skinless, boneless chicken thighs nestling in there. Got some serious impaling work to do, because on top of that fabulous mimosa sprinkle of lemon zest, now the sharpness of the juice. Remarkably pipless lemons, although I don't much mind if a pip or two falls in. Very satisfying work. I want some olive oil, just regular olive oil. Bit of moisturiser. And now for my carefully calibrated spice collection. Some paprika first off. Gorgeous colour and gorgeous taste. Next, cumin. And the thing about these spices is it's not their individual voices, but it's the choir of flavour when they're together. Coriander, always the junior partner to cumin, but no less valuable, dried chili flakes. And now a slight flirt with the sweeter spices. Before I put too much in, a little bit of cinnamon. and some nutmeg, just freshly grated over. Going a bit more boisterous now with some garlic. Don't be alarmed, though, the garlic doesn't overwhelm. It's all perfectly harmonious. And I'm happy to throw the end bits in, and then... Fabulous. Need a crunch of salt. And 2 bay leaves. Serious bit of squelching to do now. This just sits in the fridge, gaining in tenderness and flavour, and then it goes into a hot oven for 30 minutes and it's cooked. The thing about the chicken shawarma, it's how you eat it as well as the fabulousness of the chicken itself. So I want a pile of warm flatbreads on the table, some tomatoes I'll chop up with some fresh mint, some shredded lettuce to go under the chicken, of course my pickle purchases. Oh, and I have to have my tahini yogurt sauce, which I sprinkle with pomegranate seeds.
Now, although tradition decrees that this sauce should be served only with lamb shawarma, I think it partners my chicken perfectly. Start with regular plain yogurt and stir in some tahini, that rich and grainy sesame paste that I like to keep on hand. Add a good sprinkle of sea salt flakes and mince or grate in some garlic. When I serve this, I add a scattering of ruby pomegranate seeds, but for now, all I need to do is stir it together. As I'm making this ahead of time, I simply cover and chill this until I need it. Pudding has really nothing to do with what we're eating first, but I don't expect any objections on that account. And I can get it mixed up before my guests arrive.
My children like a chocolate chip cookie so gooey on the inside that it's hard to make the outside set enough for the cookies to keep integrity of form. So this is my solution. A chocolate chip cookie dough you bake in a little dish and eat warm with a spoon, the chocolate chips still molten.
These are incredibly easy to make. You need soft unsalted butter to start off with, which you beat together with soft light brown sugar. This brings a bit of goo to the texture, along with caramelly sweetness. I'm using a mixer, but a bowl and a wooden spoon would be just fine. Once the mixture is soft and combined, add vanilla paste or extract, and then beat in an egg. I've got some plain flour ready in a bowl, and before I go any further with this, I need to add a little salt and bicarb. Then beat this into the butter and sugar mixture just gently until it coheres. When my children were small, they'd have eaten most of this batter by now. finally fold in some chocolate chips. I like very dark, teeny chocolate chips for this. And the pots I cook these in are small too. I hate the word ramekin, but it's ramekins I need for these, so there it is. I'm making 6 even though I'm feeding 4. As I've said before, I am never knowingly undercatered. One final touch, I smooth the tops with a crank spatula. They'll need around 15 minutes in the oven. But in the meantime, I have peeps arriving and the heady aroma of chicken shawarma to welcome them with.
William, you're meant to be on bread duty.
No, yes, I'm going to be on bread duty.
But
No bread.
that's really too busy with the talking. And now I'll take it. Thank you very, very much. I'm with you in a minute. There you are. I'm going to try and give you some lettuce too. Oh, you got one. So you have. Oh, yeah. They're beautiful, aren't they? The pink, the red, and the gold.
Yeah.
I'm loving that so much. It's like a cocktail.
That's better.
What's in that sauce? Tahini, yolk, and garlic. Can I recommend a bit of the very nice pink turnip? This. That's pretty. And then I am going to apply to face.
Do you want to fall?
You have to wear your napkin like the old boys do, tucked in.
I've now reduced to fork behaviour.
Really delicious.
However much everyone's eaten, there's somehow always room for my cookie dough pots, which I like with a sour tang of crème fraiche.
Okay, so I dig in like this. And then...
And then I fill the middle. But do you want to try that? Use on the side.
I have restocked my licorice box. Now, I know the world is divided between licorice haters and licorice loathers, but what am I doing? I had to do it like this. I know the world is divided between licorice loathers and licorice lovers. I missed my pairing. Now, I know the world is divided between licorice loathers and licorice lovers, but I'm on a conversion, and I have made... Oh, someone throw water at me.